Alright, what is up YouTube? HPJ here, and I'm coming at you guys with my updated Harpie deck profile. And this time, we're going to take it digital because we're going to also have some additional help from a new support card, and that is Simorgh the Bird of Kings. So, I'm not going to waste any time. Let's get into the deck profile itself. And it starts off with 3 copies of Harpie Channeler, 3 copies of Harpie Perfumer, 3 copies of Harpie Harpist, 3 copies of Harpie Lady 1 copy each of Harpie Queen, Harpie Dancer, Harpie Oracle, and Harpie Lady Sisters. For the rest of the monsters, I'm rocking 2 copies of Barrier Statue of the Stormwind and 2 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs. For the spell cards, of course, 3 copies of Hysteric Sign, 2 copies of Alluring Mirror Split, 2 copies of Harpie's Hunting Ground, 2 copies of Elegant Egotist, 1 copy of Harpie's Feather Rest, and 2 copies of Swallow's Nest. Then for the trap cards, 3 copies of Harpie's Featherstorm, 3 copies of Infinity Impermanence, and 2 copies of Hysteric Party. Then for the for the extra deck, got 3 copies of the beautiful Harpie Conductor, 2 copies of Simorgh, the Bird of Kings, 1 copy of Great Fly, 1 copy of Barrel Sword Dragon, and then for the Exceed Monsters, 1 copy of Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon, 1 copy of Castell, the Skybasket Musketeer, 1 copy of Lightning Chidori, 1 copy of Ice Beast Zero Fine, 1 copy of Abyss Dweller, and of course the Utopia package. Utopia Ray, and Utopia the Lightning. So the whole orient of this deck is that, of course, it's Harpies. You have a lot of access to a lot of your spells, traps, and monsters that, of course, are Harpie. Harpie Channeler has the ability to summon a Harpie monster from your deck by discarding a Harpie card from your hand, and she can summon a copy of Harpie Channeler through her effect. If you control a dragon type monster, her level becomes 7. And just like the rest of the Harpies in the deck, she becomes Harpie Lady while she's on the field in the graveyard. The best thing about Harpie Channeler is her effect. Discarding a Harpie card to summon a Harpie monster. There's so many things you can do with this monster. So many cards that you can link for, exceed for. She just has a great flow as one of the main parts of the Harpie archetype and one of the most summoned Harpie monsters in the game. We have Harpie Perfumer, whose effect is when she's no more special summon. It has a 3 Solar Trial card that specifically lists Harpie Lady Sisters in its text from your deck to your hand. If you control a level 5 or higher monster, when she's no more special summon, you can add an additional card from your deck to your hand, which helps you flesh out a lot of spells and trap cards that have Harpie Lady Sisters in its text, which bring a lot of the older cards back to fruition, like Triangle Ecstasy Spark, um, Triangle Ecstasy Spark, because that's literally the only good one I can think of. Because Elegant Egotist has a ton of cards that can easily be searched. But if you do want to search for it, you can with Perfumer. You have Harpie's Hunting Ground, of course, a lot of the newer additions like Harpie's Feather Rest, Harpie Lady Elegance, and Alluring Mirror Split that Perfumer can get. I just, like I said, I've always adored the Harpie Lady Sisters and Triangle Ecstasy Spark as a combination, and especially what that card can do. But it's a very situational card at times as well. Then we have Harpie Harpist. So her effects really just depends on which one you want to set up for. When she's normal summoned, you can select another winged beast monster you control and return that card to hand, as well as one face-up monster your opponent controls, which is not too bad, but it does target, so yeah, have to deal with that. Then you have her other ability, which is during the end phase of the turn in which this card is in the graveyard because she was sent to the graveyard that turn. You can add a Winged Beast monster that's level 4 with 15 or less attack and add it from your deck to your hand. She's got a lot of targets. She has Oracle, she has Perfumer, she has Channeler, she has Dancer, she has Harpie Lady 1. So she has a lot of range for the Harpie monsters she can get. She also gets the Barrier Statue of Stormwinds, who I'll talk about in moments time. Then we have Harpie Lady 1, pretty much one of the bigger Elegant Egotist targets. She is always Harpie Lady, no matter where she is, hand, field, deck, or grave, or banished. She gets 300 additional attacks to all wind monsters on the board, so it gives you a good heap of defense when it comes to your wind attribute. Other than that, That's pretty much about it for Harpie Lady 1. We look at the one-ups. We have Harpie Queen, who can discard herself from the hand to add Harpie turning around from your deck to your hand. So, additional search card there. You have Harpie Oracle, who can retrieve any spell or trap card from the graveyard that specifically lists Harpie Lady Sisters in its text when she's normal or special summoned that turn. Also to note that during the end phase of it, if you have this card in your hand, you can special summon her from your hand if you control a level 5 or higher monster, so that gives you additional Harpie to put onto the board. Although she is not the most she's not the most received monster you would think of. Harpie answers effect to return the wind monster on the field back to your hand to give you additional summon of a wind monster turn. Can come in handy in terms of back row removal with Harpie's Hunting Ground. You have the effects of Harpie Harpist and Harpie Dancer. Harpie Conductor to also take advantage of. And you just have a lot of other cards that you can easily duck and dodge with her effect. The Harpie Lady Sisters. Now, this is a monster that most people don't run because there is no retrain. Sadly enough, guys, it's been 20 years. If we were going to get a Harpie Lady Sisters retrain, we would have gotten it by now. For the most part, this is one of the two accessible level 5 or higher Harpie monsters out of the quote 3, because Harpie Channeler needs a dragon on the field to become level 7. Harpie's pet dragon, although a more viable target in most cases, has to be summoned through Channeler or through a monster effect to hit the board. And then Harpie Lady Sisters has Elegant Egotist, but it must first be summoned through Elegant Egotist, which does lead on those problems itself. It's the highest attack the wing of each monster you can easily summon to the board. One of the highest attack Harpie monsters that Harpies have, because no other monster has reached above 1900, except for like 2. And this is technically the only other monster you can also summon through Elegant Egotist effect. We have the Barrier Statue of Stormwind, and this monster is pretty much here to help prevent the special summons of monsters who are not wind, forcing both you and your opponent to play such summon nothing but wind monsters, which can be easily taken advantage of because, primarily most of the monsters that can summon happen to be wind. And it's not a bad thing either, especially when you have such great range with wind. It is funny because wind always gets seen as the lower end of the stick when it comes to the game, but has some of the best utility. It's just the utility itself sucks in a lot of cases. And it's sad because now we have a monster like Simorgh who can help all winged use. It's just how much of an advantage can you take when it comes to using that monster now. Because don't worry, we'll talk about Simorgh soon. And then the last monster, of course, is the Ash Blossom of Joyous Springs, which I was really considering going back to 3 and probably either dropping a Harpie Lady 1 just to put it in. I was considering dropping the Harpie Lady Sisters, but I wanted to fit the Sisters in because I wanted those additional effects to go off with a lot of my other Harpie monsters. A lot of my spells and traps. So now we move on to the spells and traps. We have Hysteric Sign that can search for 3 spells. Up to 3 Harpie cards and add it to your hand when it's set from the hand or field to the graveyard that turn. You also have its ability to add Elegant Egotist from your deck or graveyard, so that helps in terms of Harpie Perfumer and Oracle to get an additional way to get and fetch for Elegant Egotist. Then, to note, we can only use one of this card's effects per turn only once that turn, so be very careful of which effect you want to use. Most people just opt out and let this card get destroyed or sent to the graveyard from the hand or field, so that we can get the other additional Harpie cards. And of course, the range over the years has extended because we have trap cards that we can get with this card's effect, as well as monsters and spells. Harpie's Hunting Ground. The field spell for the Harpie Archetype. When Harpie Lady or Sisters is no more supposed to summon, the conductor of the summon selects the spell or trap on the field and destroys it. Although there isn't much back row being played this time around, this card doesn't really get to see a lot of heavy play. However, we do have our own spells and trap cards we can blow up with this card's effect, and that can be very helpful as well, especially when it comes to a lot of strategies that Harpies have in terms of blowing up spells and traps and then getting their additional effects off when they're destroyed by a card effect. Then we have, of course, Elegant Egotist. This is a spell card for the Harpies to such summon. If a Harpy's on the field, you such summon a Harpy Lady or Harpy Lady Sisters to the field. Of course, as we know, Queen, Chandler, Dancer, Perfumer, Oracle, Harpist, and Conductor are all Harpy Lady. Will become Harpy Lady while on the field in the graveyard, so that helps stretch out a lot of the additional effects of a lot of cards that are for the Harpies. This being one of them, because this isn't locked behind once per turn. It's not locked behind specific things, except for you can only summon Harpy Lady or Harpy Lady Sisters. And, the stretch that it gives there can be very, very beneficial in terms of, summoning a massive swarm of monsters to go into link plays or exceed plays and really get things going. This is a card that I honestly just want to run at 2. I'm trying the 3 of, but I really just don't. Like, it becomes such a nag at points because it's like, I have other cards that can search for this. Like, I don't need the third one, and then when the third one comes to use, it's just like, I don't really need it. I should have had another card that could have been easily used. So I just rather just prefer to run the 2 of. And then we have Alluring Mirror Split. Although this first effect isn't one of the most potent, its secondary effect is, and that's, when it's destroyed by a Harpy card effect or your opponent's card effect, you just summon one Harpy monster from your graveyard to the field, and that helps tremendously because then you can get back Harpy Lady Sisters. If you're playing Harpy's Pet, you can get him back to the field. You have, of course, all the other Harpy monsters you can get back to the field as well. And this is one of those additional cards that, if you destroy through a Harpy card effect, you get some benefits off of it. So not only Harpy Hunting Ground, but Harpy Conductor's effect as well. And it just helps so much more just flooding the board with different Harpies. Which is funny because that's exactly what this card's, image is depicting. More Harpy being summoned to the field or more Harpies coming to your aid. Now the other effect isn't too bad, but it is has to be destroyed by battle. Harpy Lady or Harpy Lady Sisters. So that does kind of slow down the process, but I've tried it and done it before, and it does help in a lot of cases. So it helps and varies. Harpies, I'm sorry, Harpies Feather S. So this is pretty much the pot of avarice for the Harpies. Uh, add any combination of 3 Harpy Lady and or Harpy Lady Sisters at your deck. Shuffle, draw a card. You can draw level 5 or higher. You can draw 2. And then for the rest of the turn after this card resolves, you can only play wind monsters. But like I said, the wind lockdown is strong with combinations of Simorgh and the Barrier Statue of Stormwind. Other than that, it is a pot of average, so you can get back a lot of your bigger pieces or a lot of your little pieces that you need for specific effects and specific combos. And then, of course, the Swallow's Nest, tag out a Winged Beast, such summon a Winged Beast whose level is the same as the one you attributed. And boy, the range just keeps getting better for the Harpies. Because you swap out Harpist, go get Chandler Perfumer. You can go into Chandler Perfumer. You can dodge one Perfumer to get another Perfumer in case that Perfumer's effect's being negated. And there's a lot of things you can easily do with this card. And you can get Barrier Statues and put them onto the field because Barrier Statue Stormwind is Winged Beast. Harpies are level 4, it's level 4, bam. There you go. Then we go on to the trap cards. We have Harpy's Feather Storm, negate the effects of your opponent's monsters till the end of the turn. If this card is destroyed by opponent's card effect, you can add one Harpy's Feather Duster from your deck to your hand. Sadly enough, the TCG doesn't have that option because Duster's still banned here in the TCG. You can activate this card from your hand if you control a Harpy monster, which is not hard because we have that range. And thanks to Hysteric Sign, we can easily search for this card because there's Harpy in its name. It'd be busted if it had Harpy Lady Sisters in its text too, because then Perfumer and Oracle can retrieve it or search for it. Hysteric Hardy, pretty much the big summon card for the Harpies. Discard a card from your hand. Let's summon as many Harpy ladies as possible to the field. This pretty much helps you with your extended link plays, your exceed plays. There's a ton of good plays you can get off of this off of this trap card. And a ton of cards you can easily discard off of this card as well. Oracle, Harpist, Hysteric Sign, just the range you can get from those cards being sent to the graveyard. and then tons of monsters you can easily bring back with this. Infinity Impermanence. Although Effect Veiler is more prominent, more of a promising card, you can easily activate this card if you go if like you're going second and your opponent's going first, you can neg them for a lot of cards. This is a card that you can have the option to take control of for a lot of things. And the fact that if you're activating it, any card in that column can't be used, I believe. Yeah, cards in the column can't have it, our effects negated. So that's also a negative on your opponent. A big negative on your opponent because it's like, oh, I can't use anything in the column because my monster got negated, and then nothing can be played. So it's a good stun card. It's a really really good stun card. I'm sure a lot of people would like to see this card get reprinted again because it took a while for this card to get reprinted. Sadly enough. But I do have access to physical ones. I think this is still a great card, especially for what it does. In terms of the extra deck, let's talk about the big bird now. Simorgh Bird of Kings. So, you just summon a winged beast monster from your deck to your field based on whose level is equal to or less than the number of unoccupied spell trap card zones on the field. This is where the barrier statue Stormwind comes into play because you can summon him. You summon it off of this monster's effect. You can also summon cards like Harpies, to pretty much force your opponent to try to send her to the graveyard and then have her trigger during the end phase. You can get Perfumer, who can search for the spells and trap cards with Harpie in its name from your deck to your hand. An Oracle can be summoned and can retrieve them from the graveyard to the hand. Harpie Lady 1 to give the additional attack power. Chandler, of course, for her rebuttal play on your turn to um, such as summon another Harpy monster to the board. While any Winged Beast has is being pointed to by this card, you can pretty much make it immune to being targeted by your opponent's card effects. So that helps as well. Especially when it comes to cards like Harpy Channeler, whose effect you don't want negated, Perfumer, whose effect you don't want negated, the Barrier Statue Stormwind, who you definitely don't want its effect to be negated. And and the only other thing is if a Simorgh card would be if this card would be destroyed by battle card effect, you can destroy another Simorgh card instead. There's a lot of people probably questioning why I'm running the double. Like if I get the option to summon a second one, I'm gonna go for it because this monster can't be used as link material, which is sad, but understandable just because of off of what it does. And you can easily just power up this card with a lot of offensive cards as well to help it out. Harpie Conductor, of course, the Exceed monster for the Link monster for the Harpies. She's Harpie Lady while she's on the field in the graveyard. If a Harpie monster would be destroyed in battle or card effect, you can destroy a spell or trap card instead, so that triggers off a lot of additional Harpie cards there. And if another Harpie monster you control is returned to uh, the hand, except for during the damage step, you can return one such summon monster your opponent controls back to their hand. So you can run a lot of cards there as well. Great Fly for additional 500 attack and defense, and its ability to recover a wind monster in the graveyard and add it back to the hand. You have, of course, the Infinite Barrel Sword Dragon, just to give you that. It has a lot of presence. You can attack again by switching a monster on the field to defense position. It can be destroyed by a battle, and it can gain attack equal to the attack of a monster your opponent controls, or you can just target it for that effect. And it's just a really good monster, a really good rank for it. A lot of people enjoy having this card. I hate going up against it though. Then for the action deck in terms of Exceed monsters, we have the Ever Faithful Servant, Harpie's Pet Phantasmal. Your Harpie monster can be targeted for card effects or by battle, can attack your opponent directly, but it loses its Exceed materials during the end phase of the turn. Uh, of course, Ice Beam Zero Fine to be the massive negation of your opponent's cards, and then of course her 300 additional attack boost until the end, until the beginning of your next standby phase. So you have a good lingering skill drain effect to your opponent's side of the field, and then the power bonus she gains for every face-up card on the field. She's a winged beast, so she gains some attack points from Harpie's Hunting Ground as well. Then you have Castell, the Sky Blaster Musketeer. This monster is pretty much just an additional removal card, just like the card next to it, Lightning Chidori. Although Castell is Winged Beast, Chidori isn't. You do get a lot of stretch out of both of these cards for Harpies because they're accessible extra deck monsters that are wind. They both have a good removal effect attached to both of them. And, just the ops of Castell is that it's winged beast, Chidori isn't. So you can at least strike with Feather Storm under Castell. Sadly enough, not Chidori. Um, Abyss Dweller helps with graveyard effects to lock them out of play, especially with a lot of graveyard effects going crazy during this current game. It's just a monster you don't want to take. A monster you don't want to take lightly, and a monster you want to take advantage of if your deck has the ability to summon it. And then the last monster, of course, are the Utopia package, Utopia Ray, and Utopia the Lightning, just to go into Lightning to have a big monster with some big presence. So that pretty much just ends the video here. Um, I'll have some more videos and stuff coming up for the rest of the month. And I thank you guys a lot for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys next time. HCJ, signing out. Take care.